Welcome to Women, Men, and Relationships. I'm JJ Flazanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's show. Today we're going to talk about the 6 ways to increase your intuition, and we're going to be led by Ann Gordon, who's been on the show before. But before we get into the episode today, the only announcement that I have, besides, of course, I want you to come to January's Releasing What Weighs You Down in Los Angeles, the 10th through the 13th. I'm happy to work a payment plan out for you if you want to come. It will be the last one I do like this. So it's still going to be somewhat affordable, and your food gets covered, and you can share a room, and there's payment plans. So literally, if you want 2019 to be different, if you want to guarantee 2019 is different than 2018 was and better, I'd invite you to find a way to come to the event. And also the Manifestation Mastermind. We do have a few spots left. So if anybody wants to join that, it is limited at 20 people. And we are starting in January. And I've talked about it on a previous show. If you have any questions, just reach out to me to see if it's a fit for you. But those would be my 2 announcements. And Ann Gordon is a sponsor for Releasing What Weighs You Down. And so she will be at the event, and she'll be able to lead us through some guided healing sessions with the dolphins, even though, yes, the dolphins are going to be in the ocean and we'll be in the room. But maybe I'll even schedule a trip to the ocean. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So Ann Gordon loves nothing more than sharing her love, passion, and connection with the whales and dolphins with you. She is a certified Dolphin Energy Healer and has a gift for leading powerful guided meditations to help you connect on a deep level with the dolphins and whales. She's also a trained biologist and keen observer of animal behavior. You can trust Ann to create a sacred, safe space for you and completely let go of any and all stresses in your life. She will respect your needs and make you feel at ease and relaxed while enjoying a magical trip of a lifetime. Welcome back to the show, Ann.
It's great to be here, JJ.
Very excited about our dealings for 2019. We've got a trip planned that we're going to invite you all on, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in today's show. This is Ann's second episode here on the show. And the first one we talked about a little bit in depth about some of the work that she's been doing for a while with dolphins and whales. She's got a whale and dolphin healing retreat that she does, and that's mostly the bulk of your work right now, right?
Yes, it is. I'm focusing pretty much entirely on that, in that doing dolphin energy healing, sending the powerful, magical healing energy of the dolphins to my clients, and offering magical whale and dolphin wisdom retreats that where I can be with the whales and the dolphins, sometimes even swim with them, and immerse ourselves in the incredible healing energy they have to share with us.
One of the things I love about your trips is that you are taking people into areas in the wild. And I know you have a free download that I mentioned in the last show of where to find and swim with and be with dolphins and whales in the wild versus, some of us have swum with dolphins in the pools with the trainers and they do their tricks and stuff. And it's all very contained, and go be in a very controlled environment, which isn't necessarily the best to honor, with what nature has to offer. And in terms of that divinely guided and divine timing of what happens when you're in the wild and you meet a creature and you have an experience. And so we're going to talk about the trip that we have planned for next year, for 2019, and it is July 7th through the 12th, and there's only 12 spaces, and currently I do not have a sales page up, but I will, and it'll be at jjflazanes.com/whale. But in the meantime, while it's not up, anyone who's interested, you can just email me through Instagram or Facebook, or go through the website, through the contact form on jjflazanes.com, and I will send you the details as I have them right now. And if you're interested, we've got payment plans and everything. So one of the things I wanted to bring Ann on to do this time was, besides offer the trip and talk about the trip, would be to tell you and help all of you who are listening. Let's say, a lot of you'll never go on a trip. It's just not something that's in the cards for you for whatever reason, whether it be financial or you have too much going on. Maybe you're a single mom, maybe you're a mom and your kids are too small and it's not something that's going to happen right now. But there's a lot of wisdom and power to be gained from understanding how to access and connect. One of the things I am very passionate about helping everybody do and you know through some of the most recent shows that we've had here, is to connect with your own intuition, to follow your own guidance, and to be in a state of allowing and receiving so that you can get downloads and communications from your animals, from people who have passed on, who are really still here, but and obviously in this case, from the dolphins and the whales. So I wanted to bring Anne on today to help us learn how to access that communication and get into that frequency in order for us to better receive any kind of messages or healings that animals have, but more specifically the dolphins and the whales. So, Anne, I'd like you to take us back to you and when you discovered these gifts that you had for yourself and how you uncovered them. And then, of course, how they've helped transform you and others. And then we'll go through maybe a couple-step process to teach people how they can better strengthen their connection, their intuition, their ability to download so that they can, wherever they are, especially when they're in the ocean, receive some of this themselves and help themselves.
Absolutely. I'm happy to share. And it's an interesting little story in that, I grew up and my early career, I was working with animals. I was a zookeeper. I was training animals for movies and TV, but I never got into the spiritual part right away. And I didn't consider myself or did much animal communication. Sure, there was, I'd get a feeling, but having studied biology and been around animals, a lot of times you can just read by observation. Their body behavior will tell you a lot. So I did take a course on animal communication, and that was kind of fun. And I played around with it a little bit, but it really came to a beautiful fruition when I took a course we called it Dolphin School, Dolphin Heart World. And in that course, they taught us how to incorporate dolphin life skills like living in joy, going with the flow, unconditional love, all those things we know about dolphins. But part of the course was learning dolphin energy healing. And for me, that was my least interesting part of the course. But I did it and I embraced it and I tried it, but I felt like I was doing absolutely nothing during the practice sessions. I'm not one, and I'm still not one where I can actually feel the energy or see the energy. I still feel like I'm doing nothing when I do it. But what started happening is when I was practicing on friends, as I was sending the energy, my mind would wander and I didn't try and control it. And I would get these bizarre thoughts and impressions and visions in my mind of maybe an elephant or a manatee, or I'd see dolphins doing something, or I'd get this message from the dolphins. And at first I thought, this is really bizarre. Am I just making all this up? But when, after the session was over, I stayed silent during the session as I was sending the energy, but afterwards I would share what I received with my clients. And I remember one gal who worked with birds, and she was a bird trainer, like with parrots and so on. And I said I saw this elephant, and she got all excited and recounted this amazing moment she shared with an elephant that was very impactful in her life. And after that, I started sharing everything that I saw, even if it made zero sense to me. And every time, 100%, it was validated by my clients. And so the more I opened up to it, the more it became this easy, steady flow of insights and messages. And one thing that I did every night, I still do it to this day, before I go to sleep, last thing, is I ask the dolphins to send me their healing energy. And then I give them permission to adjust my frequencies in any way that is for my highest good. And I remember in that first year of learning and practicing, playing around with dolphin healing energy for other people, I did that as I went to sleep one night. And this whole vision started going on in my mind of, I was like I was in a dolphin body and I was swimming alongside other dolphins, and we were playing in the waves and swimming fast. And it was really fun, but there was no profound message or anything as a result. But when I came back out of the vision, my body was vibrating so high that I couldn't sleep. The entire night, I couldn't sleep. And this went on for 3 days. I could not sleep a wink. It was like the dolphins had taken me to such a high level that it took 3 days for my physical body to catch up and adjust to the new frequencies. And then the next dolphin energy healing session I did after that happened, oh my gosh, it was like the floodgates were opened and messages upon message upon message upon message just came in. And I had to ask the dolphin, stop, I can't take 2 or 3 at the same time. I need you to do this linearly so that I can comprehend what you're sharing with me. And so they did. And ever since then, it's been super, super easy. But it was all about asking the dolphins to share with me and giving them permission. And the rest was easy.
So first, I know I asked you this in the last show, but I don't remember what the answer was. What is your birthday?
September 28th.
Okay, so you're a Libra.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know anything else about your chart? Do you know what your moon is?
I don't.
Okay.
I've been told I've forgotten.
Okay, that's okay. Well, okay. So first of all, that air frequency is interesting to me. I don't think it means necessarily that anyone else couldn't find it, but there's sort of a quality of in air, being a Libra, that puts you into and can, like, the benefits to the air signs they're about thoughts and thinking. And again, that sort of non-physical frequency might be easier to click into. Sometimes where it's a problem for air signs is that air sign people may not be in their body as much as they're in their head. So like emotions don't really necessarily get experienced or processed because the body, but you feel like you're very connected, and that these messages were somewhat easy, if you will, to pick up on. And I love the fact that, and I don't love the fact that you couldn't sleep for 3 days, but I understand. And I know there are a lot of people in this community who are tapping into their gifts. I get emails regularly about people who are realizing they're clairaudient, or that they have gifts, and some of them astral project out of their bodies, and they're freaked out. They don't know what to do. And so they write to me, and it's been really fascinating to give people a space to understand what some of these physical sensations and sounds and ideas and messages that they're getting really could mean for them. Because the average person is not going to say, oh, you must be clairaudient, or you must be clear. So, right. So here's a space where people can actually explore and hear other people who also have these gifts. So if I'm someone who has never, ever, let's say, received a download or a message, but I'm very curious, I'm very interested, and I want to start tapping into a little bit more specifically, like, I'm going to intend to do it. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to create space to do it. What would be some of the steps that you would say someone should do to get into that state to receive?
Sure. There's a couple of things. One is something very, very simple. We all have gut instincts. We all get little bits of insight every day, but most of us don't pay attention to them. For example, you're walking out of the house and all of a sudden it pops into your mind, take the umbrella. And you're like, that's crazy. It's sunny. I don't need the umbrella. And you walk out the door, and then it rains. And you go, oh, I guess I should have taken the umbrella. But if you go back and you say, okay, I'm going to take the umbrella. I don't know why, but I'm taking it. Then you're honoring that insight, that intuition that came in, which then opens the door for more to come in. If you deny it and ignore it, even if you have validation later, you're blocking them. But if you listen to those insights, it really does help the flow for more. So that's step one, is just honoring whatever comes in, whatever it is, how crazy it sounds. Just honor it without knowing why. Another one that I found, one of the best ways, no matter where you are in the world, is going for a walk in nature without your cell phone, without being plugged in, and just without an agenda. Just go for a walk, observe, and let your mind wander. And this is where I have had some of the most powerful insights and solutions to challenges I'm dealing with, is when I just get out in nature, I just go for a walk. I'm there to enjoy the walk, nothing more. And I don't have my phone, I don't have anything else. I'm just walking. And your dogs, you can walk your dogs at this time. And it's a great way to open and free your mind. Because today we are so busy with our screens, with our devices. We've got so much input from the outside world that, again, we're blocking what's coming from the divine, from spirit, from the universe, because we've got so much coming in that's distracting us from hearing the messages, be they from passed on loved ones, from your angels, from your spirit guides, or you actually have a dolphin spirit guide, but you have to open yourself to hear them.
There are a lot of intuitive people that I work with, you being one of them, and a lot of people don't do well with cell phone frequencies because it blocks some of those messages. And so since I started doing my events, I actually tell people that there's no computers or laptops in the room. Their cell phones are going to be turned off, powered down, so that they can actually be present. They can receive messages. I mean, we still have the cameras and the AV crew, and there are times where I need to keep my iPad on, because I'm running the event, and if we're late for lunch or something, I have to communicate that without leaving the room. But no one is to have them on. I mean, can you imagine like 30 to 50 people with all their cell phones on? It just blocks the ability to receive messages, and it also increases our agitation in your body. And so that's definitely one of the reasons why for my events, in case anyone's listening who's coming, yes, you're going to have no cell phone in the room. You can turn it on during the breaks, but it's important because, like you said, we always have them. So we always almost have a block to our ability to receive this. And I love the going for a walk, and I love the gut instinct, because there are times where you talk yourself out of something that your body or your mind just gave you a message, and you rationalize why you should or shouldn't do that. And I think it is really important to follow your gut instincts. I want to add something to that, because I agree that the minute, like the little things you said, like taking the umbrella and making sure that, and then because that'll open you up for more. I'm on a bit of a healing journey myself, and nothing life-threatening, nothing, like huge or whatever, but it's something where, let's just say Western medicine would say you can't do that. And even a medical intuitive that I had didn't think I could do what I'm doing. And I had to listen to my body. And that's another thing, part of also I want to add in terms of gut instincts, listen to your body. If you're having something happen in your body, it's an indication of something. And my body, when I looked at doing certain, let's say surgery or whatever, my body said, no way. I was hysterical. I cried because my mind was saying, but this is what you were told. But my body was saying, hell no. And I finally, after a third appointment, said, no, I don't believe this. My body is not resonating with this. And so that going for the walk, the gut instinct, also checking in with your physicality, because I think when we're on the right track, you feel relief, you feel aligned, you feel connected, you feel clear, you feel clarity. And if you're feeling anything less than that, if you're feeling resistance or anger, or you feel like, for me, I had resistance, I had fear, I didn't feel any bit of relief in the idea of some of the things I was told to do. And so I finally had to say, look, I can't ignore that my body is telling me that this is not the right thing. So besides the gut instinct is also your physicality. Your body will tell you when you have back pain and knee pain. Most of you that have like lower back pain, but it kind of comes and goes, or maybe you have knee pain sometimes, and then other times you have back pain, you most likely have repressed rage. It's not actually physical, but the body's trying to tell you something, that you have something to deal with. I had a client recently who had a shoulder issue, and he and I've been training together for a little over a year. he's on the path of really being conscious and spiritually aware. And, we went through the physical things, and I said, okay, but you do know that it also means anger. Are you angry? And he went, yes, I'm angry. so so
Wow.
we addressed the anger. We also did some exercises to counterbalance some of the pain, and it all went away once we addressed the anger. So I don't know if you were going to bring up emotions, but I thought it was a good point to connect them, the gut instincts, the letting yourself wander, letting yourself feel and be present to also your body and the signals your body is giving you. Okay, so that was my addition. Do you have it? What else do we have, Anne?
No, that was beautiful and it was perfect. So I love that you brought that piece in. Listening to your body is very, very important. And it's interesting you talked about the emotions and the anger. And so many of us do, especially in our modern day world, we've learned to repress our emotions. And that also can be blocking our insights, blocking the true nature of what's going on with us. Whether it's a physical, emotional, or mental issue, can all be from blocked emotions. And the dolphins teach us to dive in deep to our emotions. Whatever's going on, if feel something coming up, whether it's sadness or anger, whatever, they honor their emotions, because a dolphin, they have echolocation. They use sonar to see their prey in the low light conditions to navigate, but they can also literally see inside the body of their prey, inside the body of each other. And not only can they find and locate disease like tumor, broken bones, etc., but they can also assess the emotional state, because as you just mentioned, we hold emotions physically in our body in different ways. So in the dolphin world, there's no such thing as secrets or lies. Everything is completely transparent. So they don't hold their emotions. They feel them as they receive them, as whatever causes those emotions. They just feel them in the moment. Whereas we do not. We're not very good about that. And so they ask us to dive deep. And if, for example, there was about a year ago, I had this overwhelming sadness come up, and I honestly can't even remember why now, but I allowed myself to dive deep, and it took 2 days to just dive deep and allow myself to cry and fully feel the sadness. Was it fun? No, it was awful. It was miserable. But in 2 days, they just went away by honoring them, giving them full permission to express in my body, express in my mind, to cry it out. And then all of a sudden it was like coming down, going deep, 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 diving underwater, and then coming up for your first big breath into the warm sunshine and just leaping for joy. It's like all of a sudden there was this big wave of joy that washed over me, and the sadness was gone, and gone forever. So it's very, very powerful to allow your emotions, honor them, let them express, and it brings you right back to joy and keeps you open, clean, and clear to receive the insights that want to come to you.
I had a recent experience. You know that I'm in transition of my relationship, and there was
Mhm.
a week that Doug and I took off in Cabo, and I asked him if he could do it totally unplugged. And the problem with Wi-Fi is you can connect anywhere now. I used to go to Jamaica
Right.
where I had no Wi-Fi. This is before Wi-Fi. It was like 2001, and there was no Wi-Fi. There was dial-up, and so you're forced to disconnect when that was happening. But now Wi-Fi is everywhere, and everybody there was on their phone. And I'm thinking, how sad is this? You're on a vacation, and everyone's on their phone the entire time. But I was, we were there because life has been so busy, and I saw what was happening in our schedule, and I said, you know what, we're going to need a vacation. I'm going to need a vacation. I'm going to need some space because it's too much going on, all of this, that I'm going to need space. So we booked this trip. It was a week long, and it was a totally unplugged vacation. And I tell this story on Women, Men, and Relationships on one of the episodes that he and I did together, actually, while we were there. That like you said, in terms of really allowing yourself to feel that, this vacation while it sort of reminded me of my past relationship, there were times where, just because I created the space, stuff was coming up for me. I mean, I was laying in bed for a nap, and he's napping beautifully, and I'm having a hard time napping. And I knew there was emotion in my body. Like I could feel the unease in my body. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm ready. I'm open. You can come out now, emotion. And I'm laying there and I'm thinking this would be the perfect time for me to cry or for me to be aware of what was happening. And of course, nothing came up, even though I was there. I was present. I wasn't distracted. In fact, I was trying to focus on it. So then we get up from our quote unquote nap, and then we end up going into the pool. And what happens in the middle of the pool? JJ gets his thought, and boom, that's when it comes up. And I'm wondering if a little bit of it was the water and being submerged in the water. I mean, I knew that it wasn't that I could control when it was going to come up, but I allowed myself to let it out. I allowed myself to continue to release it. And it reminds me of when you said you had emotions coming up. Most of us are not even aware that we're repressing emotions. Like I wouldn't have said to you, oh yes, I'm repressing emotions. And it's mostly because, well, first of all, most people are not that aware of their emotions. Number one, I'm just going to say that across the board. But let's say someone like me, I'm aware of my emotions, but because I'm so busy, and not for busy's sake, but because there's so much movement happening, there's so much travel, and there's work, and there's thinking, and there's meetings, and there's clients, and there's podcasts, and there's editing, and there's, all this stuff. I think that it's really important, and I'm going to put this as number 5. So far, I have gut instincts. Listen to your gut instincts, no matter how small they are, and encourage that and keep strengthening that. I've got go for a walk or wherever you are in the world in nature and have no cell phone and just wander and be present and be open to any messages. I added the body piece. I'm going to make that number 3, paying attention to your signals of your body when there's pain or discomfort or anything happening, indigestion, whatever, any message from the body you can pick up. You talked about stopping repressing your emotions and taking a deep dive. And I'm going to add 5 as, unless you have another one, and we can add another one, but I'm going to add, you have to create space for this. Right. Most of us are so busy, your emotions are being repressed naturally because you're focused on whatever you're focused on. It's not, this is why, again, I'm doing events. This is why Anne does what she does. She takes people out on 5-day trips to be present in their body, in their emotions, because I don't believe that most people are going to get it any other way. You're not going to really allow repressed emotions to surface in the middle of your workday. You're not going to do it when you're making dinner for your family. You're not going to do it when you're driving to the bank. When do we actually take time and space to allow ourselves to surface these emotions, to express and process them? And again, like I've said many times on the show, even if you're in therapy, and I'm not encouraging people not to be in therapy. If you've got a great therapist and you're making strides, awesome. But if you're someone who goes and repeats the same story every week, week after week, and you haven't had an emotion, in fact, side note really quick, have you ever watched the show Wanderlust on Netflix? It's a BBC show.
I haven't seen it, no.
Doug and I were watching it. There's only one season. It's like 6 episodes. But what's really fascinating is that Toni Collette is the lead, and she plays a therapist. And she herself is going through a really rough time in her marriage. And what I find so interesting is that she has her own therapist. So they show her being a therapist and they show her in her own therapy. But even when she got to the place where she was like, repressed emotions were coming up. And let's be honest, I love you all in the UK, but tight, stiff upper lip is what you're known for. So that's called repressing emotion. So she's in the scene with this therapist and she's starting to have emotions. And then she has to go to the bathroom to like splash her face and like shove them back down. And I'm thinking this is so interesting because they're showing her being a therapist, but yet we still have this idea that emotions are inappropriate or that, oh my God, I shouldn't be getting upset, or why am I doing this? Because it's energy and the energy needs to be released. The energy needs to be processed. And if you aren't processing it, it just stays in your body. So I'm going to sort of round out number 5 there, but I'm sure, Anne, do you have another one?
I do. I actually have one more that's really fun, and it's very, very dolphin-like, dolphin and whale-like, and it comes from them. And it's something that you can do with me as I talk you through it. And it's called taking a cetacean breath. And you'll know as I walk you through it. So basically you take a deep inhale and you hold it for a beat or 2. And then as you exhale, exhale very powerfully and imagine it coming out through your crown chakra, just like it's coming out the blowhole of a dolphin. And even like think of making the sound like just as the dolphin does, expelling the air very, very powerfully. And then a deep inhale down through the crown. Hold it for a beat or two. Another powerful exhale out through the crown. And one more time. Inhale in through the crown. And as you're inhaling in divine inspiration and insights, wisdom. Hold it for a beat or two, and then powerful exhale out through the crown. Now, the dolphins and the whales, their crown, the crown chakra, is exactly where their blowhole is. So literally every single time they exhale, they are clearing their crown chakra every time. And their blowhole is on the top of their head. So they're inhaling in directly from the universe, from above them. Not like us, our nostrils are pointed down, right? Down. So we're breathing stuff in from below, whereas they're always breathing in from above, which is why they're always highly conscious beings, super connected to the divine and living in many dimensions. And so if you want to receive more insights, take 3 dolphin or whale breaths to consciously clear your crown and open up this path for the divine wisdom to flow easily into you.
Super powerful. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the work of Abraham Hicks?
I do, yes.
There's an audio. I don't remember if it's a woman or a man, and they talk about swimming with a dolphin. And it was with the trainer, and it was in one of those pools. But what was talked about was that the person was communicating with the dolphin. Like the dolphin was making sounds that the trainer said the dolphin didn't normally make. And it felt very playful. Like it felt like the dolphin was connecting with this human in a different way. And then the dolphin let out a sonar pulse. And the person said it felt like a million champagne bubbles going off in their chest. Has that ever happened with you on a trip? Has any dolphin given a sonar pulse to you guys?
Yeah, it actually happens quite often when you are swimming with them. You can hear whenever you hear their whistle is their communication, their voice, their way of speaking like you and I do. But the clicks, when you hear this click, 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 click sound, that's their sonar, their echolocation. And it's a buzzing feeling. It's a very tickly feeling. It does feel like bubbles bursting all over the body. And it's a very, very thrilling, amazing experience.
Okay, I want that because every time I hear that audio, I feel it. And I get, and it's such a great pick me up, like instantaneously connecting me and aligning me to, again, a higher frequency. And because I can visualize it, it's super quick to listen to, and it's really powerful, and it's very palpable in my body. Like I can actually feel like I'm there, but I would like to actually have one for real. So what's the odds on a 5-day trip that I could have one?
It's possible. It's completely up to the dolphins and up to them. But we generally do have a few opportunities on our trips to be able to get into the water with the dolphins and the whales. And there's one thing that's similar to that, but in my mind, even more powerful. And that is here in Panama, where we will be coming on your trip, on our trip, is that the humpback whales are singers. And the males sing this amazing song that lasts up to half an hour or even longer. And it's such a powerful song that the low notes and the high notes go above and below our hearing ranges. So when we find a singing whale that's close, we slip into the water and we float, immersed in this sound. And what's fascinating is when I have my head completely underwater, I am no longer hearing the sound in my ears. I'm hearing it from inside my head somehow. It's completely different. And if we're close enough, the low notes, you can feel them vibrating throughout your entire body, in your chest, in your organ, in your bones. And it's the most magical experience that I have ever had.
Okay, so I'm either going to get a sonar pulse from a dolphin or I'm going to be around a singing whale. One of the two. I'm going to manifest that for our trip. So let's go over, before we go over the trip, because I know there are people that are like, well, I'm never going to be able to go on the trip. So let's just talk about some of the free things that people can get from you. So you can go to, there's a new one for those of you that listen to Anne's first show. You can, if you go to dolphinspiritguide.com, she's got a dolphin, I believe it's a healing session, a meditation.
Dolphinspiritguide.com is a free guided meditation that I lead, that you can listen to, where you will meet your own personal spirit guide. Everybody has one. Most of us are not aware that we have one. It's like everyone has a spirit guide. Everyone has a guardian angel. You also have a dolphin spirit guide. So this guided meditation will help you meet and open a connection with your dolphin spirit guide that you can then continue working with them forever.
Love that. So dolphinspiritguide.com. There were 2 other free giveaways, but I'm going to make you go back and listen to Anne's other show because I want to go over for the 12 people who want to come on this trip, because it's limited to 12 who can purchase this to be with us on this trip. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what the itinerary is, go over sort of the day, and mind you, the people that are coming on the trip with me, I'm adding, sometimes there's going to be a sunset yoga / meditation in the morning. Sometimes there'll be a sunrise or sunset evening meditation / yoga movement session. We're going to have a couple group healing, like check-ins and visualizations. We're going to be doing some of the, visualization processes that we do in the manifestation challenge. So I'm going to be at least once a day out of the 4 days, or maybe a day that I don't do anything, but at least 4 out of the 5 days, I will be leading some kind of visualization or movement or exercise in order for us to kind of collectively get together. So besides that, and that's the difference of coming on the trip with us, if you are welcome, if the dates do not work, to go on a trip with Anne at any point in time. In fact, I'd encourage it, just I won't be there. And the exercise and things that I bring to the table will not be with you and involved. Okay. So Anne, tell us a little bit about the itinerary on a normal day.
Sure. Our first day we you fly into Panama City, Panama, and then we go out to a Gamboa Rainforest Resort, which is a beautiful resort surrounded by the rainforest, right on the river and right on Lake Gatun, which is part of the canal. And the Sunday, we fly in on a Saturday. The Sunday morning, we get up, we take a little boat ride out to see some of the jungle wildlife, like monkeys and sloths and toucans and all this amazing wildlife. And there's this beautiful deva of the lake that I have discovered. Her name is Bilabel, and she's a mer goddess that protects and looks over the wildlife in that area and the lake. And then so I introduce you to her, and we do a water blessing ceremony on the lake, which is really, really powerful to do because this is the Panama Canal. So it bathes every single ship and vessel that transits the canal in that healing energy. And that water goes out to both the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. So the water we bless then goes out to everywhere, literally in the world. So then we take a quick visit to the canal. I explain the spiritual significance of the canal, and it's pretty fascinating. And then we take a quick flight, the 20-minute flight out to the Pearl Islands. We stay on Contador Island. It's a cute little island. You can walk it end to end in 30 minutes. And we stay in a beachfront hotel where when we're eating our meals, we can often see the whales passing by before we even get on the boat. And basically, a standard day is we have breakfast in the morning, and then we go out at 10 o'clock onto a luxury catamaran sailboat where we spend until 4 p.m. out with the dolphins and the whales. Usually at lunch, we will stop at an uninhabited island, beautiful white sand beaches, take a swim or a snorkel. And most of the time, we're just observing, sometimes swimming with, listening to the dolphins and the whales that are all around us. And here at July through October, we have over 2,000 humpback whales, and it's breeding and birthing time, which means there's babies all over the place. And the males are looking for females to make more babies. So it's all about rebirth, birth, reproduction, renewing life. And it's just an amazing experience where on the boat, I will be sharing bits and pieces of dolphin and whale wisdom just organically as it comes up. And it's really an incredible moment, as JJ said, where we will get completely present, because when there's a dolphin and whale in front of the boat, it's impossible to think about anything else. It's impossible to worry about your phone. It's impossible to worry about the bills and the problems back home. You are there, right there in the moment. That brings you naturally into this playful, fun, childlike state where we are meant to be, which also brings us back to being open and clear vessels to receive any and all insights that are waiting for us.
So excited about this trip. And I want to say, so there's 12 people who can come with us as of this recording and as of this publication. There is no sales page for it yet. It will be at jjflazanes.com/whale, because I would like you to see some of the videos and the pictures. But if you're convinced and you're ready to put a payment plan down for yourself right away without all of that, of course, you know how to reach me. You can go to jjflazanes.com through the contact form. You could reach me through Instagram. If you're on the list, if you're in the manifestation challenge, or you get my emails, you can just reply back and I will send you the details. I currently have a 5-pay, a 3-pay, and a 1-pay available. So, and if you are getting this in December and you get on board now, I can do a 6-pay for you starting in December, but it's 5-pay starting in January. It's 3-pay, obviously anytime right before. And will you be, because I know this is on your site, will this be shared with your audience at all? Or will this just be, I mean, I would love to fill 12 people from my audience and from my list first, but is it something that people might want to come to who are on your list?
Yes, absolutely. We'll put it on my website as well. I can have that up this week. And I just really trust that if somebody from my audience chooses to come on your trip, then they are meant to be there with you and they will fit in perfectly with your group. So I will have it out there and trust that whoever comes is exactly the perfect person to join us.
Great. I love that. Okay. So everybody, just contact me if you want to be one of the 12 and find out more about the payment plans and what's included. I have what it includes and doesn't include. Obviously, it doesn't include your flight or tips or gratuities or souvenirs and alcoholic drinks, but pretty much everything else except dinners. But all the hotels are included, any of the transfers and all the boat and everything like that is included in the price. So I would love to have you join us. And again, if you're unable to join us, definitely start out by getting your Dolphin Spirit Guide meditation to connect with your Dolphin Spirit Guide. And also, if you plan on coming on the trip, still get your Dolphin Spirit Guide so that you can connect with them now and then have even a more powerful experience in July when we go to Panama. Yay. All right. Well, Anne, this has been awesome because not only do I feel more excited about the trip in July, I definitely think that today's information can help anybody who wants to be more intuitive, wants to be more connected, wants to get more downloads and messages. And it's a great reminder for everybody, especially during this holiday season, to slow down and to, if you're dealing with health issues or relationship issues or life issues, just remember that while you'll figure it out along the way, you're never going to really have that true healing without creating space and taking the time. And that might not be a 7-day or 5-day trip to Panama. It might not be a 4-day trip coming to Los Angeles for the event, but you do need to create space in your life that's disconnected from technology, to allow yourself to actually go within and hear your gut instincts and your intuition in those messages, because without creating space, you're not going to connect. So I think today's been a great reminder for everybody to do that, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what level you're on, because that's only going to empower all of us to, again, be more connected, be more in alignment with who we really are, and to receive those messages that are out there waiting for us to just open our ears and open our minds and slow ourselves down enough to receive them. So, Anne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope we were able to help some people open up to their own intuition using some of the hints we gave today. And I'm super excited about hosting you here in Panama and sharing my whale and dolphin soul family with you and your listeners. So if it's right for you guys, if you're listening and it feels right, we look forward to having you with us.
And if the dates don't work out for you, everyone, please also remember, I don't have to be there. You can go on another trip with Anne at any point in time for whatever trip is left. So Anne, where would they go to find out about the other trips?
They can go to whalewisdomretreats.com and then click on the schedule page, and you will see all the retreats listed that I have set for 2019.
whalewisdomretreats.com. If you can't make July 7th through the 12th in Panama with my crew and with Anne. And if you're coming to January, Anne will be there as well. So we look forward to seeing you at some point in time. And if not, hoping to strengthen your intuition and get you at least a little bit further along in trusting and opening up to the messages that are available to you through both the dolphins, the whales, and through everything else.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.